We all want to thank you for scheduling it here with the air conditioning. We really
Oh,
appreciate
Yeah,
it.
definitely.
Thank Debbie for thinking ahead, especially with all this smoke. That's weird today. Okay, everyone good? Alright, let's call to order the July 15th meeting of the Raleigh Zoning Board of Appeals. Tonight we only have one business item on the agenda. It's the continuation of the Raleigh Farms 40B project. I think today on the agenda, as provided by the applicant, they would like to go over the stormwater peer review report, an update on the floodplain LOMAR, the letter of map amendment, a wastewater question we've had regarding how that's going to be handled, and also wetlands. We have traffic on the agenda, and then we can discuss a future site walk. So I guess I'll take a motion to open today's public hearing on Raleigh Farms.
So moved.
Second? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so instead of, sometimes I start with you, Jake, to give us a traffic update, but why don't we save it until a little later, unless you can't wait to tell us something.
I don't have really traffic.
Alright, and before we pass it over to the applicant, does anyone on the board have any outstanding questions or business we need to take care of, other than what I just read? Okay, so Christine, please.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board. For the record, Christine Hung, attorney at Reamer and Bronstein. With me tonight, I have Carrie Pike and Patrick Bogle from Howard Stein Hudson and John O'Connor, Director of Development from Google. As the chair mentioned, we have some updates on certain of these kind of continuing moving parts of our development. First being the stormwater peer review that was conducted by CEC. We provided a response to the peer review comments, just noting that a lot of the comments say we will be revising the plans, which we intend to do. As you know, through previous discussions, we had moved some of the buildings around, we have remove one of the cul-de-sacs. So all of those adjustments will be updated in an interim set of plans. Our thought process at this time was where we could be efficient and save Patrick from doing the laboring work of doing these detailed plans, because we have some larger outstanding items that we still need to present before you, such as wetlands and the wastewater, that we thought that to use Patrick's time most efficiently, because we're, with Katie being gone, Patrick is our primary civil engineer and he's being pulled in a lot of different directions in this project, that we could be efficient, and then once we present our stormwater, wastewater, then we can do an interim plan at that time. So that is our stormwater report, and thank you, Dave, for providing your peer review comments. With respect to FEMA and the letter of map revision, Bowler, who was our consultant handling that, they had a really positive call with FEMA last week in terms of getting the updated models and standards of FEMA, and Bowler is updating their exhibits and they plan to resubmit to FEMA this week. And the timeline for that process will be resubmitting this week, and then FEMA will take about a month to review those exhibits and the resubmission, provide probably some minor comments back to the exhibit. We'll get them back, and then there's like a notice to like abutters in the town, but we anticipate getting a letter of I think the terminology is like an approval or an agreement that they agree with our letter of map review by the end of September or early October. So that is kind of like a moving process. With respect to sustainability, we provided to the board a copy of a sustainability letter provided by our energy consultant GDS. They highlighted some of the sustainability initiatives that the project is undertaking and really highlighting the high efficiency mechanicals and building components, and then also what energy efficient type development features that will be throughout the site. So that has been provided to the board for their review. In terms of wastewater, we are continuing to work diligently on assessing the site and its various site constraints. They have done the test pits and are in the process of analyzing all of that data. So we hope to provide a more substantive update next month with the board. We have asked that. So that is still ongoing, and we appreciate the board's patience as we kind of move through this process slowly than we had wanted to, but there are a lot of site constraints and it is a very large site as well. So we're moving through that process. And then lastly, with the wetlands, as the board may know, there is an existing ORAD on the site that was approved by the Concom. And that was the basis for our development and filling some of the wetlands. And I know the board doesn't have information on this. So our consultant from Epsilon, he will be prepared to do his presentation regarding the wetlands at the August 19th meeting. What we've requested that he provide and what we would like to provide to the board is the analysis based upon the wetlands that we're looking to fill, the functions and values of each, and how those can be replicated or made enhanced at another location. So what we have instructed him that we would provide the board with that analysis by the 5th, which is 2 weeks before the August 19th meeting, so that the board has time to review and that Lucas Environmental has time to also review for the August 19th meeting. So those are the updates that we have. We are working very diligently. I know this has been a slow-moving process, and I appreciate the board's patience with this as we kind of move through this process. But we are diligently working on all of these issues, and we are making progress. Slowly, but we are making progress. So hopefully in August we will have a good wetlands presentation. We'll have more of a substantive outline regarding our wastewater and continue to move forward. So that's my update. So I'm going to turn it over to Carrie Pike right now, and she will provide the board with an update and with Jake's input as well on traffic.
Actually, Carrie, do you mind just holding for a second? Sure. Because we'll just, before we go off of these topics, I just want to make sure that we kind of go over some of our peer review thoughts. Maybe David, I don't know, 1 second, if you're ready to speak to your overall impressions of the response to your comments. And I know how much work goes into this. I know that it is a very long process to get these issues resolved. I think though, since you just want to reiterate, because when we're talking about deliberating on a final permit, that since this is being done midstream instead of before, we may be asking you to redo some stuff if we're significantly revising the design, or we evaluate the impacts and see that this is too much, that building there is too much. So I just don't want anyone to cry foul afterwards if we're asking for plan revisions that we don't have the ability to ask for now because we don't have all the impacts before us. David, do you have any thoughts that you'd like to share regarding this, or is it kind of really just a wait and see until we get that interim plan set?
So they did provide a response letter back, but as Christine said, it basically just says yes, this will be addressed on the revised plans, or yes, this will be addressed in the revised calcs. So until there's something in front of me to compare it to the letter, there's nothing to really comment on. You had a quick little side tangent. You had mentioned some dates for the FEMA and wastewater and wetlands. When are you anticipating, ballpark timing wise, when revised interim plans are going to fit into this for our second review of stormwater and that kind of thing?
Yeah, I guess after we make some headway on the wastewater and wetlands.
Okay. Yeah, because until then, I really just.
Yeah, no, I hear you, yeah.
You're very reputable people. If you say you're going to do it, chances are it's going to be done, but it needs to be confirmed and make sure, with the building changes and with roadways changing and with drainage is going to
Definitely.
move. And I might have a comment about a soil type here for this infiltration basin, but if it moves 150 feet because something changed, now we got a whole new set of circumstances here. So I just got to make sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's really all I had on the stormwater, and then the wastewater, same thing. Your response was basically what you just told everybody here. So. Yeah.
I think just a question on the wastewater, and you mentioned the wastewater and constraints is getting test pits. Are those on site? I thought that the wastewater was being pumped off site.
It is off-site, and it is off-site. It's like abutting our parcel, but it will be off-site.
Okay. Thank you.
Madam Chair?
Yeah.
Just a couple of questions through the chair. On the wastewater, is it your intent to file for a hydrogeo approval to DEP within the next few months?
Yes.
And what's the capacity that you're asking for that? Is it just this project, or is it?
Just for the.
Yeah, it is just for this project.
Just for the board's edification, there's a process within DEP. They need a groundwater discharge permit, which is a state issued permit, which is not within the purview of this board. Several years back, DEP bifurcated the process, and they allow now submission of a hydrogeological analysis, and DEP issues what's known as a load letter. They basically tell the applicant that they are in agreement that the land that they have tested will accept X number of gallons per day. And that's very important. It's the most important information or approval, quasi-approval that the applicant can have, because it kind of sets the stage. The groundwater discharge permit itself gets into the type of treatment and a lot of the more detailed information with regards to the system itself. But at that point, it's pretty assured that you're going to get that groundwater discharge permit, because the biggest variable or the biggest unknown is the acceptance of the effluent into the ground. So if they're moving towards that process, then it will at least inform the board that they have an area, and the board can then look to condition, or to at least understand the conditions or mechanisms for that land to kind of be part of the 40B, even if it's not within the lot, the contained within the lot that's being proposed for the 40B, through future easements or whatever. There can be a condition that envisions all of those legal mechanisms to make sure that area is tied to the project. With regards to the wetlands, you mentioned Lucas Environmental. What is their involvement?
They're I think the town's peer reviewer.
Is that who we're subbing with?
That's who the subconsultant is. We don't have any.
Subconsultant to okay, that's
Do we
right.
still need an approval to?
Correct. I still don't have authorization or the required funds in the
So
accounts.
I think the process would be to get the report from Epsilon, share it through Dave to Lucas, and then have the board formally approve Lucas and make sure that the funds are there for that review.
But have we requested the authorization from the applicant already and we're just waiting?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll follow up with the
Yeah,
client.
I thought we had that.
Okay.
I'll follow
So
up.
it's just,
And price proposed? From
it's all,
And then I think there was also an email that went out from Debbie about replenishing the peer review fund,
Yep.
which obviously needs to be addressed.
so if I could just piggyback on that one real quick, if I may. You had mentioned earlier the meetings, August 19th, you're gonna try to have it to the board by August 5th. I'm gonna tee up my team to be ready for that, so when it comes in, it's not unexpected. So if that's gonna come earlier, if you could let us know as soon as possible, and if it's gonna be later, hopefully it's not, but if it is gonna be later, please let us know as soon as possible so we can
Okay.
try and meet that
It
that
probably
schedule.
won't be earlier, and I'm hoping it's not gonna be later, so it's like the 5th is like 2 weeks before the next meeting, so hopefully that's what we're.
Yeah, if we can have everything else all teed up between now and then, so that when that report gets delivered on the 5th, I can pass it right off and we can, Thank you.
Another thing, while I think of it, that I know is outstanding and I'd like to see at some point is kind of your phasing plan of what you're planning on, kind of the order of buildings. I know that your regulatory agreement with the OHLC is going to require that the units that are affordable are spaced throughout the development.
Yeah.
But I would also like to see that plan for when your market rate and when the affordable units are going in.
Sure.
So that would be helpful.
You're talking, and that, so we do have a construction sequence plan that we're finalizing.
Okay.
And then as far as the affordables and the market rate, they're equally distributed throughout the building, so you'll know how many of each unit type are in. That's what.
Right, yeah, and I know that's overseen by the state as well,
Right.
but I think for the purposes just of, memorializing it in the art conditions, I would
Sure.
like to see it. Joe, did you have any additional comments that you wanted to follow up on, or is it more to do offline with consultants?
Not at this time, but maybe after traffic.
Okay. On my way here, if I was late, I was gonna make a joke about the intersection, but
Okay.
alright, so we're good with moving forward with traffic, I feel like.
So a few things before I get up, because I have a plan in the deck that's behind you that I'll talk about in a minute, but so we submitted back second responses to comments, which I think, David, correct me if I'm wrong, I think nearly everything was resolved or close to resolved, but that kind of relates to the next topic, which is I did manage to connect with Frank Szynski, who's Assistant District Highway Director at District 4, MassDOT District 4, regarding the intersection that we were just mentioning, Route 1 and 133, and as to whether we needed an indirect access permit. And I spoke with him on the phone, and then I followed up and actually linked him to all of the material that's on the board's website for the project. I did give him some numbers and, pointers of these are the things that we've submitted that are traffic related, because obviously there's a lot of material in general. He reviewed that with, I believe, I'm not 100% sure about the people, but I believe it was the project development team and traffic, and they came to the conclusion that we do not need an indirect access permit. However, I had also expressed to him the concerns that we've heard from the peer reviewer and from you all regarding both operations and safety at that intersection. And he wanted me to pass along to you all that they are open to having a meeting with the town about the intersection. So it would be with him and with Brian Fallon, who's the project development engineer at District 4, and Brian's staff and probably traffic and whoever else, but to try to initiate a project at the intersection Obviously, they did take a look at the information that, we've already prepared. And he was suggesting to me that one way to do that, and he thought this might be the way that they would want to go forward, but they want to talk with you all first, is to do a road safety audit like what was done at 133 and 1A. So get everybody together, look at the crash data, go out there and look at what's going on. That's the usual process for a road safety audit that then could initiate a project with the state to have improvements made at the intersection, irrespective of this project. So that's kind of where we are with
That's
MassDOT.
So
And I'm happy I have his contact information, so I'm happy to pass that along to whomever it should go to.
I think if we pass it to Debbie and then we'll get it to the right people,
Okay.
as you know, we don't have an engineering department, so we'll kind of have to think about the best way to handle that. Did he say that to get a safety audit, I'm just thinking about what town staff may or may not have to do, so are we going to have to do a grant application, or how is that gonna work on the ground, because other than,
We didn't really talk about that.
okay,
He said, the first step would be for the town to reach out.
Yeah.
And then go from there to kind of figure.
alright, cause I think something like that's gonna have to go through the Board of Selectmen, and have a discussion with that, but we'll start an email and then go from there.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
I will give Debbie his and Brian Fallon's contact info. So then, one of the things we talked about the last time I think we were here for traffic was the intersection of 133 and 1A that I just mentioned that has had a road safety audit done. And my understanding is that report is complete. And so we took a look at it, and based on, there were some kind of longer term recommendations. Hopefully y'all can see this, and I didn't bring my glasses up, so I can't see it. As you're probably all aware, one of the main issues with the intersection is how close Prospect Street is, and that kind of really wide sweeping right turn. Sorry, let me orient everyone. North is up, so just off the bottom of the plan would be Village Pancake House. Oop. Did I do? Okay. And then you have I'm blanking on the name of this fuel company that's right here on the corner. Thank you. And Prospect Street here. So what we drew up here, and this was also sent, I think I sent it to you too, Debbie. If I didn't, I can. I sent it to the working group.
Yeah, it was,
Make sure
I
it keeps
saw it.
cutting out. Okay. So the proposal would be basically to tighten up the corner. So this where I'm tracing, it would be the new edge of the roadway, and so this whole area would get probably just loam and seed, so grass filled in, to tighten this up. And then in order to allow larger vehicles to continue to make the turn, you would put in a little flush island of scored concrete, so that when a truck needs to make a right turn, it can run over that to make its turn. And I don't know why that keeps cutting out, I apologize.
Wire loose?
Hmm?
Does it just be like a wire that's loose plugged into your?
Yeah, maybe.
We can.
Okay.
cycle through it.
So you would put in the little scored concrete, so that would give some more separation between Prospect Street and Haverhill Street. And then also today there is a crosswalk, it's very faint, you can kind of see it here where the cursor is. We would propose to move that up, and then you have the ramps put in for that. Today I don't believe the ramps exist. And then you'd also put a crosswalk in across Prospect Street, and we thought it would make sense to also just bring that a bit of sidewalk down to the driveway of Village Pancake House. So if you're on the east side of 1A, you could cross the street from that side to get over to Village Pancake House, or I know there's like an ice cream shop just down the way a little bit farther, and so make the pedestrian environment a little bit better there. So that's kind of the little concept we did. And I think last time we had talked about the idea that the town maybe would be thinking about a grant process for construction for this. One thing we haven't done yet, but I think we can do, is to do a little cost estimate for that as well. So that's what I have for that. Any questions about that? One thing to note, there was also a recommendation in the road safety audit about trying to get a left turn pocket in for the northbound direction on 1A to turn onto 133. And just with the width you have and with the, especially there are a lot of trucks that use 133 and 1A because it's really the only way to go across if you're headed farther east. And we just could not make that work with the larger vehicles. So the other thing that's here, and we have them later on in this deck, but they were in the memo that, or in the package that I submitted, was all the turning movements for the various sizes of vehicles. So you can see that they can make the turns with this geometry. Obviously, this is not a surveyed plan. It's just taken from an aerial and the property lines from GIS. But based on what we have to work with, we think that it works. So, and it's not a huge amount of construction. A lot of it is, within the existing roadway. So we obviously have some pedestrian ramps, new striping, that scored concrete island, pulling the piece of roadway out and loam and seeding the area that won't be pavement anymore. But not a huge amount of construction to make that happen.
Just to clarify again for everyone, this is just the safety audit that was done for the town via the state.
Correct,
program.
correct, and I think you all had asked about,
Yeah.
us about whether we could, come up with something, so here it is.
So, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So right now, there's people taking a right, going that, cut across Prospect. How much traffic is it gonna add if you have to wait to take that right?
I mean, we didn't do an analysis of this, so I don't know what the change would be in terms of delay.
There's not a
Because
lot
you-
of traffic
because
on
you do
Prospect,
have-
it's just a few houses, right? So it's not a lot of traffic coming out of there.
Correct, there isn't a lot of, there is not a lot of, I forget the number of houses that are down Prospect, but it's not a huge amount, yeah.
Okay, cool.
And then the last thing was, we did send in, I think I sent them yesterday, draft conditions related to traffic. So, for your consideration.
Yeah, I think that's gonna take a little time to work through. I haven't had a chance to read them
Yeah,
in
that's-
detail yet, and obviously I would like your input on them and other board members and David as well, so, and I know we have proposed conditions, there was an earlier iteration of the traffic proposed conditions, right? I'm just thinking back several months ago.
I think those have been updated based upon
And that's
conversations.
what this is
yeah.
updated, okay, I'm just trying to keep track in my head of what we have and what we need. Alright, any further comments on traffic at this time? Wanna give us an update?
No, I mean, I think we'd have to work through the conditions,
Yeah.
so we'll have to work through that, figure that out tonight. But I did see just in, somewhere in a response or a doc, maybe it was in the conditions, the bus turnaround stuff. I think that really just needs to be figured out. It seems weird to say that we're not gonna talk to the bus and figure it
Well,
out until like the
But
bus
the
site's
problem
fine.
is, you could change bus companies in 3 years, and the new bus company might have a different method, or might say, no, we won't come onto the property. So
Well, what does
we
the
can figure
current,
something out, but we're gonna have to figure it out again, so that's, we're not deliberately trying to be difficult, it's just, we can ask now, but the answer might change in 3 years when we actually have residents
do
on
they
site.
allow, does the current bus company come on site? Will they come
I
on site
don't
and
know.
come to our bus stop? I mean, it just seems like if it's wrong, I mean, we should at least try to do it based on what we know. If we do it wrong, the whole site driveway doesn't work right for the bus pickup.
Is this school bus?
Yeah, they have like a bus pickup spot
Yeah.
way internal to
There's
the
only like
site.
2 companies around, right? North Reading and Salter.
That's one company.
It's one company now?
No competition.
Call and check in, see what they say. See if they say they'll come on site or not.
Do you know if they typically go down like subdivision ways and little cul-de-sacs and stuff like?
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, when I see developments like this, when I'm commuting down 133 through other towns, and they have all the kids are out at the street, and the bus stops on 133 and picks them up, and their parents are all parked on the driveway, on like that driveway behind them. And then they'll pull U-turns and go back in, and it just seems like a
Yeah,
weird
it
setup.
may be a,
Yeah.
it may not just be this is me thinking aloud, it may not be an issue of them not wanting to go onto the subdivision road, it may be an issue of schedule,
It could,
right? They don't wanna have to turn
right,
back out.
right. It could.
So-
It might not be a right, like a that they
Like a
can't do
legal
it.
issue,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
can't
They
do
just
it, yeah.
they just won't.
Yeah.
But that's a similar, equally challenging. It would mean they would need to have space for people to be able to pull U-turns without coming out onto 133. Because nobody's gonna have their kid walk up the half mile up the driveway. They're gonna drive them up to the top, or they're just gonna drive in and bring them to school.
Yeah, but I agree, it makes sense, you know, if you call whatever, the school and they say, oh no, well, we always do pick up on 133, we don't ever go down the side roads, well, then that's a pretty good indication that we
Okay.
need some place that's safe on 133. Yeah, and then I guess another thing to think about, like with the conditions, I don't even know if you make it first occupancy permit, or maybe it may need to be pre-occupancy permit that it's handled, cause I don't know how else we're gonna enforce it post occupancy. I guess it does say first completed building.
But we also want to make sure that the site driveway works
Right.
for how the buses are picking them up. I
Right,
can't wait until we're
and I assume
getting an
you're
occupancy
building the
permit.
road before you have the occupancy
Yeah, we
permit,
can build it
Yeah.
first.
David?
That was a comment that we, again, we all looked at this
Yeah, yeah,
briefly, but was the bus access, right? Is there gonna be a bus building, so to speak, out at the entrance, right, where all the kids are gonna gather? Or to just, as a factor of safety, build a little turnout, 300 feet into the property side or wherever it is. And if the bus company ends up not using it, then they don't use it, but now we've got a little turnout for something in the future where it just doesn't get paved. But I think our thought was that something should be provided for in the site now. To your point of in 3 years, what if the bus company changes? Well, what if in 5 years from occupancy, the bus company changes, now they wanna come in the site? So I think a very small area of pavement in a potential shelter location in the site.
Right now they have I think they
Yeah,
have a
we
spot
have-
in the
Yeah,
site, but
there's
it's
a spot.
it's 1,500 feet down the
Correct.
driveway.
Yeah,
I think something probably closer to like the clubhouse would make the most sense, right? Cause the kid, it's
That's where it is, but
plan,
it's
right? The
still,
kids get out of
yeah.
school, they can go to the
That's where it
clubhouse,
is.
play to whatever.
But if they won't drive down there.
Yeah.
Then we need something closer to 133. Some accommodation for the truck, the bus to.
Well, I guess the upper we don't know yet, right?
You didn't ask them that.
So we'll find out. But we typically don't build a shelter,
But yeah, but
but we have an area.
yeah, if the bus is coming into the property, a few hundred feet, then you probably don't need the shelter, but out at 133, you're gonna need something for the kids to stay protected under.
You stay in the cars, that's what they usually stay.
They stay in the cars, and then the car everybody
Yeah, I
pulls
know.
U-turns at the end
That's
of the
what happens,
driveway.
no matter what you build, that's what happens.
You know what would be really helpful for me, and I don't wanna make you do additional work, so I'm not asking for new plans, I'm just asking for like, if you could electronically submit just like, this is where we left off on landscape, our plan set that we last saw for landscape, a plan set that we last saw like with the street layout and civil, because I feel like
Yeah, I think
tons
that
of
part,
stuff was submitted you know, however many months ago.
Yeah.
And like, I don't have a clear picture in my head of what you're proposing for sidewalks, like what the layout is now, you know what I mean?
I
Like
think
just-
we have those color renderings that we used at the prior hearings that we can provide. Is that something that you would be looking for, like things that we had provide, like shown, or something a little more
I'm just saying like,
engineered, like detailed?
more engineered and
Okay.
detailed, like the landscape plan that you guys provided was really rudimentary and I don't know, like, and then there was a change to the sidewalks, but I don't think that's been reflected in any of the plans. Or even if it's like an outline of the submission time, like we submitted this on this date, we submitted this on this date. Yeah, but that's like just,
Yeah, but at least that gives us something to look at, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
you know what I mean, like just, you
Yeah,
don't
so
have to
can keep track,
resubmit.
so you can keep
So we
track
can
of
keep
everything.
track.
Yeah, so maybe what I can do,
Yeah.
I can't do the plans, but I can do like a timeline of like
What's-
hearing and what we submitted and
What's been updated,
Yeah.
what hasn't been.
yeah. Okay, I will work on doing that.
Don't they get loaded up to the site though chronologically?
It's really not helpful, especially because they're all PDFs of presentations.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know when the last updated civil plan was. You know, like how when you have a permit set and your permit
I don't
set,
think we have.
I know you don't have
yeah.
a permit set, but
No,
I'm
no,
using
but I
this
don't
as-
think we submitted, I don't think from our original thing,
Yeah.
we have submitted like an update, and I think that that's what was one of the and that's why we're waiting to get like the wetlands and the wastewater a
Right.
little more, because those are big,
I understand, it's
factors.
big and then it's expensive, so
Yeah.
I'm not telling you to redo your civil plan set.
yeah,
I just want like a plans and specs list of like, these are the plans submitted on this date, this is the plan last update date, you know what I mean? Like if like I said, if you're looking at a permit set that has like 100 plans, it has a list on it that has.
Yeah, so we had provided a full site civil package which had the
Right.
layout and the grading and everything. That was all designed and peer reviewed at the same time.
Right.
And then we had some layout changes which reflected the building swaps
Yeah.
towards the front of the streets, and that was a single page. And that basically was reflected on and also reflected with the landscape drawings in that
Okay.
that visual there. So as far as the civil layout sheet, the latest one is just a single overall that depicts the building swap that you've seen and is reflected right there, and
I
also
think this is
reflected.
before the building swap. Or
Yes, that's
this is
before the
before
building
that,
swap.
the big building moved.
And the
and the
and the
townhouse,
roadway is
yeah, and the
removed.
townhouse,
So yeah, I
What-
think to Carla's point, when I open up this plan,
Yeah.
I kind of don't know that it's out of date.
Yeah,
Unless
yeah,
we
I-
have some kind of record we can refer to and remind ourselves.
Yeah, so
So, yeah.
I think we'll send you essentially the package that has all the last grading and layout and stuff,
Yeah.
and then just say that's been
Latest and
updated
greatest.
on the
Updated.
layout side, but you haven't seen any of those grading, drainage, and yada 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 updates because those haven't been reflected in that new package.
That would be really
okay,
helpful.
so.
Sure.
Okay, yeah, that would be really helpful, and then I think that also helps us identify like our landscape plan needs to be updated because it doesn't reflect the, change in the sidewalks. And we asked for some cross sections of what it would look like, so
Just for you to keep track and, yeah,
that would be really helpful.
okay.
Can I just say something now? Just
Go for it, or informal.
because we're in that kind of land
Yeah.
overview, I wanna make sure what they're doing includes pine trees, land swap. That hasn't been mentioned. We met with Katie
Yeah.
back in January, the piece we're supposed to be swapping out, that should be included. So you all know how that, because that affects retaining walls, they said they do, and the fence behind the townhouses, this big discussion we had back in January, so we haven't heard
Yeah,
that mentioned.
I guess just to.
It was kind of back, I know
Yeah.
we had asked for some
Yeah.
documentation, I know nothing can be,
Yeah.
given until
We are
a
thinking,
final plan, but I wanna make sure the land swap, whatever you're submitting,
yeah,
that
we,
you are all aware of that,
we are-
and that is depicted in it as well.
yeah, we are thinking through and working on how to document that land swap. There are like legal issues because it's a condominium that their whole legal description's gonna get changed, they're gonna have to get mortgagee consent, so it's like
It's a lot,
it's a lot, so
Yeah,
it's
we
it's a
consulted an
complicated-
attorney who's handling it with us,
Oh,
yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
so if you could
Yeah, we're not like
provide
just
me-
winging this on our own,
Yeah,
we
no,
know
that's-
better.
that's good
Yeah.
to know, so if
Yeah.
you could forward to me your
Well,
attorney
we put it
information?
back in Katie, he wanted documentation back from you guys that I sent her back in March, so.
Okay, so just, can you forward to me the attorney information so that we have his contact information?
I can, I don't have your information, but we would just, the last thing was he had us list some information we needed to really, we can't do anything as the whole community to vote on it until we have legal documentation, something that will be formally submitted to the town, subdividing the property, Lolly Farms doesn't officially own it, there's so many moving parts, so.
Yeah. There's a lot of
There's a lot.
different issues.
Yeah, there's a lot, and we can work on also if it's what's not doable, can be conditioned, pre-building permit type work. I guess
Also from like our standpoint, because there has to be all this approval and consent by mortgagees and trustees, that we also can't be held up in our development in the event that there is an approval or, a certain time period as well. So those are just some of the factors that make it a lot more complicated than let's just swap like parcels of land. So we are thinking through those issues.
Yeah, and we understand there's certain things we can't hold you up on, but we can condition.
Yeah.
And I guess my final comment when we're talking more globally, because it seems like we don't have a heavy agenda, but the more organized you keep us, the happier we will be. So I don't want to spend the time of having to go through everything and say, okay, this is what they promised us. And that I know you guys are doing what we ask, but I don't want to have to keep track of it. So if you can almost do a to-do list for us, which it kind of aligns with having an outline of what plans are available, what's updated and what's being updated. Because there's a lot of moving parts here. So I want like almost a tracking chart. And I hate to give you more homework on this, but a tracking chart of these are our major issues that we're tracking. This is what's getting revised. This is what you can expect. That would be helpful. Anyone else have wish lists, things they need to say to get organized, things like that? So
I think that's a lot.
it is a lot.
Yeah, it's
I don't want to add any.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As I said, the more you keep me organized, the happier I will.
No, I can appreciate that comment.
Well, I think it's just a question.
Yeah.
I think it's just a question to you.
Yeah.
But there was a document that came out quite a while back that was a financial impact assessment.
Mm-hmm.
And I reviewed that and most of it goes over my head.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious about if that's something we need a third party to review or if that's something we need to revisit.
Well, thank you for bringing that up. That is something we had discussed. We had discussed getting that peer reviewed.
Okay.
And we haven't followed up on it. Yeah, I mean, does anyone else have thoughts on it?
We know when that was submitted, sorry, but I'm with you, I don't remember when we got that, so.
It was
We could figure out
early,
when
I
that is.
think
I'll take a look at it.
it was early.
I'm pretty sure that one is on the website because I've been going on the website to get, to revisit stuff.
And Joe, I know you've brought this up as well.
Yeah, it's a touchy issue. The request for the audit or the fiscal impact analysis is normally seen as something that's done willingly by the applicant to inform the community. But much of the findings of the fiscal impact study cannot be used by the board in your deliberations. So let's just go to the extreme case. There's an impact to the school system and this project is going to require the town to build a new school. you cannot condition that they build the school. So what the purpose is for the board to do its own planning to react to the impacts that might be in the school system, in the fire, with the fire department, with the police department, with DPW. So based on that, is it fair to then charge them to hire someone to peer review it? Where, you know, the board really can't use it. My gut says no. That it is what it is. It's information for the community to use in future planning.
That's helpful to understand, thank you.
I mean, we do have the RKG Associates study, but it's available on the website. And it is from 2003, 2023, sorry. I wish it was 2003. Need it in real life. All right, let's get moving. Let's talk about,
Madam Chair, I just had a couple things on
please.
the traffic. Based on the DOT position that you don't need an indirect access permit, how does that impact MIPA?
We were never, I mean, I think we're gonna be filing for the relative to wastewater, but because of the volumes, we were never triggering anything for MIPA related to transportation.
Related to transportation,
On
right?
the comment letters, you said that you have projected the project with timing adjust with the signal optimized, I believe.
Sorry,
Didn't you have the signal, didn't you have like the future condition with the signal, with the project trips and with the signal optimized?
I think that was in the last round of comments, yes.
So is that, I'm assuming you're implying that you would retime the signal, you'd optimize the signal timing?
No. So what I'm saying is DOT is saying, no, we're not going to do anything to their signal.
Did they understand that you show them with the project trips added with and without?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did they understand that this is part of that there's another phase coming and that this will be segmented?
No. And we will have to file MIPA for the, when and if we get to the bigger project.
And that project
That is not-
would that project require a MassDOT permit?
Likely, yes. I mean, we don't know what that project is right now, but
I mean,
by the,
So
that's the thing we've been struggling with from the beginning,
Yeah,
sorry,
if that
like-
if that project would require a MassDOT permit, wouldn't that hold everything together, because you can't segment them?
we don't have a plan for the rest of it.
Yeah, but what else is the anti-segmentation language of MIPA meant to do, but for some situation like this?
So we're gonna.
Have you talked to the MIPA office already?
Yeah, I don't have any update on MIPA, so I
Yeah.
come back.
I thought we had a meeting, but it was more geared toward wastewater, if I remember.
We've had an initial discussion.
Yeah.
Is Epsilon your MIPA consultant, could they present on that at the next meeting when they're talking about wastewater, I mean the wetlands? They could also provide information about how that is gonna be played out in phase.
I mean, look, we can't hold up our deliberations and potential approval because you haven't finished MIPA. But I think we need to know, is this project subject to a complete scope, a full MIPA review for everything? Or how, we have a right to know if this is viewed as a segment of a larger project or not. Because that's gonna really have a difference in how your project's reviewed at the state level.
I had a couple other things.
Yep.
Just with regard to the proposed conditions, just to clarify, in condition A, you're committing to produce essentially construction level plans for that work that this diagram shows.
No, it's not this diagram. It's the extension of the turn lane at 133 and 1. This is 133 and 1A.
Okay. And that would include all the survey needed, all of,
Presumably, yeah.
what would be good is a cost estimate of that effort and a projected cost estimate of the work itself. Just so that the board can understand.
So you want design and construction, basically.
Right.
Cost estimate.
Just so the board can understand what you're offering as commensurate share towards that effort. What is the value of the work that you're gonna put forth as your contribution, as compared to the total project cost. Then we've talked kind of peripherally about grants. I guess the cost estimate, the construction cost estimate will inform the possibility of grants, the quantity of grants. Are there other items in the road safety audit that could be added to that? Say if the town was inclined to go for a $3 million MassWorks grant and the work that we're talking about in these conditions is $1 million. Are there other items that the town could get done or could assist? Understand the MassWorks grant project, the MassWorks grant, you need public infrastructure improvements that the grant goes towards. But you need a project that is related to the project, that is related to that work, that the infrastructure improvements would be served by. So it's an opportunity for the community to go for a grant, and the grants they're issued very often. And residential projects, they're issued even more frequently. So what I'm saying to the board and the community is, this is an opportunity. And can additional items in the area with regard to infrastructure be added to that grant application to maximize the use of that opportunity?
I don't know if there's anything else that would contribute significantly, but I'll go back and check in terms of, a value.
That's all I have.
I don't know if it's related to the MIPA or whatever, but I mean, more like the Mass DOT thing with the signal timing. I would expect that the signal would be retimed and optimized to accommodate the additional trips from the project on that approach. So however that falls into your Mass DOT permitting, it should happen, regardless of what the person at Mass DOT said. It doesn't know that, I guess it's unrelated to the other project. This project on its own should have to retime the intersection.
Wait, Jake, you're saying that this project on its own should have the intersection retimed? Even though, but then didn't Carrie say that the Mass DOT says it doesn't need to be retimed? So
I thought
Yeah.
it was also understood that the numbers, the impacts weren't there to require that to be done.
I mean, I don't know what the conversation exactly how it was said and whether if they took the term mitigation to mean physical improvements or just retiming. I mean, retiming an intersection when you're adding hundreds of trips on one approach makes sense. It's just because it's not balanced, so you have to rebalance the
We're not adding
intersection.
hundreds of trips on one approach.
How many trips are we adding? I mean, are we?
Total at that intersection, 91 in the morning, 99 in the afternoon. It's not hundreds.
Okay. It's 91 in the morning and there's already an issue on that, on the eastbound approach.
91 at the whole intersection, not on eastbound.
Okay. So we have like a 30-second increase in delay on that approach.
Yes.
That's significant.
That
And
is,
it's like a $2,500 retiming exercise. So
and so you're gonna give us a condition, and then what if DOT tells me, no, we can't have a permit to do that?
why would they tell you you can't have a permit to retime it?
I'm
That's like they have a
This is
permit.
something you don't have control over.
It's happened
Mass
before.
DOT has they have a process. You apply for an access permit.
I'm
You say
aware
here,
of the process.
okay, so I don't see why they would say, no, you can't optimize our signal.
They're telling us that we didn't have to, that's what I'm telling you.
But not that you
That's different than
can't.
can.
They can't make you because you don't otherwise, you don't have a permit, you're not in front of them for any other reason. So they can't force somebody like who's not in a butter to go retime their signal. But you're showing that there's impacts at the intersection.
Can we table this and talk as a group and then come back maybe with something after we've had a chance to like think and talk through this and see what the best approach is? So what I'm hearing is that you're asking for the retiming of the signal, even though Mass DOT is telling us we don't have to. So you're saying, even though we don't have to, you would like us to.
I'm saying that it was shown on the response to comments that the intersection would be retimed, it needed to be retimed so that the project wasn't as impactful.
We looked at an optimized timing because we were asked to in the comments. Yes.
Okay, so we show that the intersection will operate worse if we don't retime it. And if a little bit of timing adjustments in the controller happen, it will operate better and we'll all get through the intersection faster.
Well, I don't even know for sure that,
Well, that's what you said in your report.
no, but I don't even know for sure that we can, that it's that simple, right? I don't know what
It
the
is that
equipment
simple,
is.
it's
not,
signal
it may
time-
not be, but you're right, it probably is, but it may not be. Thankfully, this is not a DCR intersection.
Well, I would think we could creatively condition it to require evidence of a request to Mass DOT to do what you're requesting, right?
Well, that's the conversation that I
Okay.
think was what
Alright.
we understood happened.
Well, more than the conversation though, I think, right? Okay, we'll table it.
So I think
Work on
I
the
understand
conditions.
what you're asking, so let us discuss as a team and
If you submit timing and DOT can have their tech go and do it and you don't need to get a permit, then that's even better for me. It's not a big, physical work to do it isn't a lot of work. It's just that it should be optimized. Maybe it's asking DOT to optimize it because you're gonna add so many trips.
again, we can talk about this. We'll report back.
I know we're not getting into the details of these because we need more time, but the improvements need to be completed. I'm not saying before first CO, but earlier than the 300th unit. For sure. And I think we are gonna also need some bonding provision in there. Are there any more traffic working groups scheduled?
We hadn't scheduled them, we were waiting for, I know we haven't had an update on this, but I think before the last meeting, not the one we continued in June, but just before our May meeting, I think that we were trying to have a DOT, Carrie was trying to get in touch with Mass DOT, have those discussions before we had any more working groups. I think it'd be worthwhile, as it relates to the conditions to I have some thoughts on the conditions. I'd like to put a draft of what I think appropriate conditions are together, circulate them to the traffic working group, and then request a meeting with the traffic working group.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I'd like to also see your draft conditions. Because maybe if I provide comments in advance of that meeting, it's more efficient than later.
So Jacob, you wanna do this all before the next month's meeting, like within the next couple of weeks, so that
Yeah, I
then
think we
there
can
can
do
be
that.
something a little more
Yeah,
final in terms of conditions and.
yeah, I think we can do that.
And maybe we can condition that optimizing of the timing somehow, like, can we think of maybe there can be condition carry.
I'm just leery of conditioning something on someone else's approval that you
It would
don't
always be
control the
subject-
outcome.
it would- it always-
Saying like, if we do our, like, if we try, I mean.
Let's-
It's always,
let's-
it's subject to Mass DOT, it's the condition that requires a different agency will be subject to their review and approval. Like if they don't give you a permit, we can't make you do it. So it's up to whether Mass DOT will allow it.
I mean, I'm gonna leave it up to Carrie, the expert, to give her comment, but we can talk about it.
One thing to note, I am gone out of the country from August 7th until the 17th, or through the 17th, back late on the 17th.
We could, well, do you wanna do it, then do you wanna just have it figured out for the September meeting? I mean, ideally, we just have,
Yeah, I think that 2 weeks, is not gonna be enough time. It might be enough time for you to have a draft, and then the meeting will happen while I'm away, so I'd rather not have that happen.
Okay.
So
Okay.
September is fine, I think.
Before you go on vacation, you'll have everything scheduled, like of when you guys are gonna meet.
yeah, we could put a schedule for it.
Yeah.
But we wouldn't necessarily talk about it, obviously.
Yeah, no,
Right,
table-
right.
Table it for September. Is your September meeting the 16th or the 23rd? September 16th.
That's also a problem, cause I'm also gone. I have 2 trips back-to-back months, sorry.
Lucky you.
Good for you.
I'll be drinking wine in Bordeaux, sorry.
Oh, don't do that. Come on.
Well,
Let's-
hopefully we have something resolved and figured out.
Yeah, by then, so
Yeah,
that
then
you
maybe I
can
don't
report back to,
need to be
yeah,
here
you
for the
don't need,
meeting.
yeah,
But we can have the,
okay, we'll just continue to work
I'm not
with
gone
you.
for 2 months
Yeah, we'll
straight, so
continue.
hopefully we could find time to meet.
Ready to talk about a site visit?
Yes.
Okay.
So we had provided the board with a proposed map, a sidewalk map. That was largely based off of our sidewalk that we did for the project eligibility letter. And it seemed to work okay. And I just wanna remind the board, if you haven't been to the site, it is densely wooded, heavily wooded. It's kind of scary a little bit because it's, so densely, and there's like houses, in the back. So the original map that we had proposed was very, along the, kind of like a pathway. But we got comments back from the board saying that they wanted to see certain stakes, additional stakes. So we went back and updated our plan, and Patrick will show you the route that we propose, pointing out, at least to the extent that we are able, perspectives that could give you a sense of scale. And even though it's very difficult to just imagine something when you're in a wood, like a building there, right? But we will fly a balloon, the height of the highest point of the building, not the kind of like the roof line, but like the highest point, which would be 55 feet. But Patrick will show his plan.
Yeah, exactly. So Patrick Bogle, Howard Stein Hudson. So we're gonna we'll start here. You'll enter in through
Can you blow that up a little bit more?
oh, I'm sorry.
Alright,
I actually don't know if.
Should I move? I'm gonna block
so
him.
we're coming into here.
Yeah, so instead of originally through the PEL, we had you coming in off of Daniels. We're gonna come in straight off of Silver Lane as if we're talking about real development. What we've done is we've marked the that ingress egress to show you the width
There we
of
go.
that entranceway on Silver
Appreciate
Lane,
it.
which is 5. So as Patrick was saying, we're gonna come down Silver Lane.
Okay, yeah, so we'll come in off of Haverhill Street, you'll come down Silver Lane, and then we'll meet, can you see my mouse? Yeah.
Yes,
So then you'll come down here all the way to our meeting location, and you'll essentially drive the length of our new Silver Lane, but down the existing right of way, the existing pieces of pavement. So it'll give you a sense of kind of the roadway as you're coming down. Past you have the couple existing houses in this location here, and then there's the old kind of factory that was down here, the old fish factory. So we'll meet here. There's a stake right next to one of the buildings, which we can kind of take a look at while we're there. But we'll start here, and then we can walk back down towards the flown balloon. There'll be a couple stakes along the way, kind of representing the center line of the new Silver Lane. We can point out some dimensions to some of the proposed buildings as we're going down. And the balloon will be flown, as Christina mentioned, at the ridge line. So it'll be not just 55 feet, but it'll be 55 plus whatever the grading is. So you'll see a representation of where that ridge top is going to be. And I think we'll also have a drone out there too, just in case it's windy, so we can place the drone exactly at what the elevation is going to be, and it'll just stay there, and it can be helpful. From there, we can walk down to number 3, and 3 is going to have a bunch of different stakes at various locations. You're going to have a couple along the pathway there that help you give some dimensions to like a clubhouse or the adjacent building number 2 on either side, and we can point out kind of some of those features and whatnot. Again, trying to maintain sticking onto that paved or tight gravel path, and then we can start walking up the grade on Silver Lane. You'll see a couple more stakes as just off into the woods to your right as you go up, and once we come back online, you'll get to number 4, where we'll have a depiction of how wide that existing piece of pavement is going to be. So that was requested by the members. So you'll see that, as well as a stake just off of the edge of pavement for a corner of one of the buildings, one of the townhouse buildings. And then as we get up towards the top of Silva, right where it meets Haverhill Street, we'll have some stakes, or depending on how it lines up with the existing pavement, there might just be a couple circles of paint or something on the ground to give the width of how that opening is going to be onto Haverhill Street. So, and then we have, from there we can either come back through the woods through here, or if we have some permissions to cross through the parking lot here to review the proximity to the pine tree stakes for the property line. It'll give some a representation of space. We had, again, part of one of the comments, slid this townhouse to the north there, so a little bit of separation adjacent to the edge of the property line. And then it was also a comment, let's see if I can. There it is, okay. The end of the cul-de-sac was staked out, so if anyone wants to brave the woods and the text, I'd be happy to take anybody out there and see the end of the cul-de-sac. So we'd have to traverse back past the cars and into the woods and see some of the topography, as well as the end of the bulb. So, and anything past that is kind of, I'd be happy to answer any questions while we're out there and see anything that anybody wants to see, but this is primarily what we'll stick to as far as that goes, and I'm sure people will be, it'll be a lot of the same after that, so.
Yeah, we wanted to give the board at least a sense of scale, and even though that's kind of hard to visualize, but then the kind of site area, but then also keeping the safety of everyone on the sidewalk in mind as well, because some of it's paved, some of it's not. We don't want anyone to get ticks, it's so bug spray. So it's just, we just want everyone to be safe as we're out there doing the sidewalk, because it is heavily wooded.
We
And there are
we live in the woods, we
mosquitoes and
live
like
here,
bugs
right?
flying everywhere. It's gross, and it's actually good that we canceled because it was hot, super
Yeah.
hot that day, and there's like bugs swarming everywhere and stuff. So bring your sneakers, and the distance probably between the
It's more boots.
yeah.
Yeah,
The distance probably is from like 1 to 5 is probably just under like a little under half a mile probably. So like it's not like it's a distance, and some of it's undulating. It's a hill. So I just
pretty thorny,
Advise-
pretty, some.
I advise the board.
I think it would be great to have just have the opportunity though, because I'm very proud of one of the things I did in college was I walked around with GIS tagging like for wetland delineation, so I'm gonna like feel very much at home when we're doing this, so not everyone has to go with me, but I would like to get a sense of topography and do this, so
Just in the
I'm
back
glad
there
we're-
behind us, it's the elevation.
the
I've
elevation
walked to the
change.
top of that.
Yeah, it's steep.
That's the only thing.
It's steep.
It's
The
steep.
amount of earth
Yeah.
that needs to be moved behind us is unbelievable. I've walked to the very top of that hill. If you went back, so just to give you a head up, because you're all thinking safety, so going
Yeah.
down Silver,
Yeah.
that abuts Pine Tree.
Yeah.
It's difficult to cross over that into our property because there's a rock wall that's actually our property line with overgrown bush and thorns, so
Yeah.
it really would be difficult to cut from Silver onto our property.
So
There's
what-
no real clear area
yeah.
unless you're wearing
exactly.
pants. We can go up, you can either drive around, I mean, and if you wanna drive down our driveway to see it, more than everyone jumps in, or we can truck down 133, which I've done as well.
Yeah, so originally our map did not include some of those states that had been subsequently
requested.
requested by
Yeah.
the board, only because it was like, we can't get there from, like, the practicality
other
of it
options.
was like, so we did the best we could after receiving the comment from the board and revised the plan, so hopefully it'll,
Yeah, I think this is much better. I appreciate that we're at a meeting talking about it, which we probably should have planned to do anyway. I know there were we provided comments from CEC with potential locations, and this seems, David, I don't wanna speak for you, but this is pretty much what you recommended. I think close to that.
I mean, the points that I provided were, if this were a much less dense site where you had a visibility of more than 7 feet, then that's what I would like to see. But knowing that you can't see 5 feet in front of you out here, and the fact that you're gonna be 2,500 feet back from the road, you're just gonna be lost in the woods. So I think the number of stakes that they're showing here is probably adequate.
And just to point out, behind the area that we own behind our leaching field, that's all level grass, like crossing our leaching field, so you are welcome to walk. That's wooded, but
Yeah.
right beyond our leaching field, it's a big wide grass area, so you're all welcome to kind of like look around and see all the woods around that will disappear.
All right.
That gives a good visual on our side.
And then the abutter page bottom, whatever there, I see that one, west. 112 is staked on the corner of that lot.
Yeah.
Does it make sense to put a stake on the lot where the lot intersects with 133? Cause if I'm remembering his comments correctly, I think
It's really close.
he
You
wanted
couldn't
to
come
s-
tonight, yeah.
he wanted to see that.
Yeah.
So if you could please add at that intersection, that was a specific request.
Because his driveway to his house entrance is at that end, so it's really, really close.
We'll add that one stake.
Okay.
Property, is it the same property that owns the properties down on Daniels? Where like the emergency access road comes in? Down page bottom.
Sorry, bear with me, I'm trying to.
And remind me if that's ownership or just an easement.
that is an easement.
You could, on the left side, there's a little scroll
There
arrow.
we go,
There you go.
okay. You're talking about the emergency access going through here?
Yeah, like the properties that are on either side of it, do those,
This one is in a butter, this one is owned by Rowley Farms.
Is this an existing emergency?
No, this
Well,
one
no,
this
That's
is
a driveway,
proposed.
it's 43 Daniels Road, it's the old farm.
Actually,
There isn't,
I mean, it
yeah,
feels
it's
like-
kind of,
I would like
It's still
to-
out there.
It's a
Right.
mess.
yeah.
I don't wanna have to like walk all the way over there, but
No,
we
but
really
we
should
could
look at
drive,
it. Yeah, should
we
look at
really
it.
should drive down Daniels Road and see where that entrance is to
Yeah.
the proposed entrance
Okay, yeah, so the gray hatch here is the existing pavement.
existing.
Yeah, and
Yeah, we need to
Alright.
flag the proposed entrance to Daniels.
put another stake down there.
Is that separate, is that property owner, is the project coordinated with that property owner that abuts that driveway?
I'd have to coordinate with Ted on that to see if he's had much dialogue with that individual.
Well, I mean, going back to one of our original comments, like, you have to show site control, so you must have that easement already.
or does he own, he owns.
Like I said,
He
the
owns it,
easement,
he owns the where we're proposing that emergency access, you know, I can't remember, cause it's so.
Yeah, so-
We
Yeah,
asked
because
about,
I can't remember, I think he owns that.
does he own the property on both sides of it? I
Yeah,
thought-
he does,
Does he
'cause
own the
that's-
property on both sides of it? That was what was conveyed, that's what I understood was, we were asking about the emergency access driveway at the early meetings, and it was like, oh no, we own all those properties.
let me just scroll down here and just a little bit of clarity here. So these two parcels here, actually these three parcels, are all under control of Rowley Farms. The edge of the easement is the edge of this abutter. So none of the easement is on that square property at all. So he has full site control of where that easement is.
Is that a proposed easement or existing?
This is a proposed easement.
So you have all like 300 feet of land?
No, I think you're confusing the words. You're meaning it's a access easement, but we own the property, that it's an easement for, it's not gonna be a full driveway, right? It's just gonna be an
An easement
emergency
for 40B.
access.
It's an easement for the 40B.
Yeah, you're building a driveway on it.
Okay, you own it, all right.
We're building an emergency access drive.
Yeah. But you're proposing it be like,
It's not a legal easement, I don't think.
I think
I'm asking-
Patrick
no, I'm
said
asking
it's
something-
an
sorry,
access
I'm going somewhere else with this.
Yeah.
So you're building a driveway that's immediately against the property line of the property you don't own, but you have like 400 feet or 300 feet or whatever, that huge amount of land to the left of it. Why wouldn't you give some space between that property line and the driveway? I mean, I imagine it's so you can set that land aside for other uses, but like,
Yes.
come on.
Future
Good
use.
point, yeah.
Sure.
It's all part of one larger.
Yeah, but that house
Sure.
is right there.
But it's also an emergency, so it's not like it's gonna have a lot of traffic coming in and
No,
out.
yeah, it
For
won't have any
emergency
traffic.
purposes only, so it's gonna be gated probably, and it's not gonna have a lot of traffic going in and out.
Right. I agree with that. It's just, I have to check the zoning, like what we typically require for,
I would
like if you were to
imagine
build a
it's setback.
driveway.
Any setback from the property line, I would imagine.
It's
Well, that's what I'm saying is that I'll have to see if it should at least have the setback from the property line, then I'll think we can say anything.
Yeah, Jake, the edge of the access drive is set back a few feet from the property line, it's just it's a 20-foot wide, I don't even know if it's pavement, I'm pretty sure it's crushed stone of some sort, and it's gated just for fire emergency.
it'll have no traffic other than if there's an absolute need from the fire department. I believe it's a 30-foot wide easement with a 20-foot, minimum fire lane.
So it's 5 feet so the driveway is 5 feet from the property line.
Give or take-ish, I'm looking at it at a reduced scale plan, but it's.
Well, I'm just saying, we should check the zoning regs and see if if 5 feet, I don't know off the top of my head, but I imagine driveways should be more than 5 feet from a property line.
So that was one of the things I asked before, actually I've passed several meetings about the emergency road, if that could be a second access road. And I think back in April
We
and
haven't
May, you
had
wanna see, check the traffic, coming out of Daniels, my initial thought was, assuming this gets built to this scale, but you know what? The west side, that ought to go west down 133 to 95, they can come out this way and take the right off at Daniels instead of everyone dumping out Silver Lane.
Yeah, I've been holding that as an agenda item, but we
Okay.
haven't had a meeting
Okay, so it's
since,
still
we
kind
haven't,
of,
yeah, we haven't had a meeting
Okay.
since like
all right, okay, great.
April, I don't think.
Okay, the workshop, that's the.
Yeah, we haven't had one of those
Okay.
workshops.
Wherever it keeps being referred to that, I just wanted to make sure that was still kind of on the radar too, as something to look into. A second egress into the overall.
Oh, it might be a safer bus stop. Bus going
Oh, if you
down.
get stuck
Buses
behind
go
a bus
down
on
Daniels.
133 now, just coming out of my, you're stuck there, like 5-10 minutes just trying to get down 133. Cause they stop, you know, right on 133, they don't pull over, they can't. All the stops, yeah, are along 133 for the bus.
I mean, given how timing's going, I'm not inclined to schedule this site visit when it's hot.
Good idea.
No?
So, and you know, and maybe we'll have more wetland information too.
Can I request if possible, just to accommodate all of us that work, I happened to be off last Friday, but, you know, just coincidence that I would have been able to make it, if it could be scheduled in an evening or during the week, not late, obviously, but
Yeah.
it's, or a
But also the
Saturday,
later
or a
we
Saturday
wait,
morning.
the darker it'll get too, so just keep that
Yeah,
in
well,
mind.
that's not till, I mean, you still get
Yeah.
a couple hours.
No, that's a
I'm-
hard thing. I mean, we don't wanna
I'm
skip work
personally,
either.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't care about the heat so much as, I mean, getting like the 3-hour meeting on a weekday is like great. Take time off, vacation time, you know, selfishly.
Yeah, well, not all of us can do that, so,
So, yeah.
just food for thought.
I don't know how you guys
Morning,
feel
Saturday
about
morning or
weekends.
something, I don't know, just throwing
I'll
out
do
different options.
Depends on which weekend.
Yeah, I'm open to it.
I mean,
Or like 3 o'clock. If it's not, you know.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
one.
maybe,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like
that,
three
that
o'clock
really is
would
like,
be-
yeah,
3
3
o'clock on
o'clock,
Friday.
Four
Friday,
or
Friday.
something,
not, yeah, maybe.
This is early.
the middle,
it's
yeah,
not
the
like
middle
bring
like,
beers if it's Friday.
Exactly, we can have a little party at, like, at the old fish factory.
I mean, we were
We do that,
setting,
we do that Friday.
we were
works.
setting aside 3 hours, but it's not gonna
I,
take
it's not
3
gonna
It's
hours.
not
take
gonna
that
take-
long.
So like,
no.
we could
It's not
go
gonna
at,
take 3
we could
hours.
go at 3:30 or 4.
Yeah,
maybe
it's
4
it's
o'clock.
pretty far, I mean,
Even
cause we're gonna have
four.
like talk about it, it was, cause I remember the PEL, that was like 2 hours that we just, you know,
Yeah.
it could take a couple hours.
yeah, that would be great just to accommodate everyone that's working.
7 a.m. Saturday? No, just kidding, I wouldn't do
Works for
that.
me.
Be cooler.
Yeah. No, I'll bring our kids. No, let's
My daughter's 41.
we could
Bring her.
3:30 maybe, like
Fine
a
by me.
3:30ish on a date to be determined.
Sure.
We'll do a poll.
Yeah.
And be back in touch. We won't wait too long, cause yes, it gets dark.
Yeah, just give us a couple dates so that we can then figure out the team.
Yeah, I know, you need a lot of people to be there.
Are other departments from Raleigh or other boards being invited as well, like planning board that may be involved? Water
We
department,
invited the
electrical-
conservation
Concom.
agent,
All the
but
board, all the boards, all the departments were invited, the
Okay.
only one who wanted to go was the conservation committee.
yeah,
That's not it,
I think planning board's really happy that they're not involved with this.
Kirk really didn't wanna go out.
No, I can imagine.
Well, you would think it's happening in the town at the,
But we
wanna
gotta
see the
remember-
full scale.
Next time Kirk's schedule is a planning board meeting, it can't be on the same night as ZBA. Cause we don't have a babysitter.
Although it was cute seeing your daughter read.
We went to planning board tonight.
Planning board meeting is a working, so that's why
Yeah.
it's on a different night, yeah. It's not a meeting.
She said, do I get to sit with Debbie again?
Oh,
And I said, no, you're going.
you get Kirk.
Yeah.
Kirk's not as fun.
Alright, do we have any, so I know this has been really informal, but I don't see an issue with that because we have such few such small numbers here, but are there any other comments from the audience before we wrap up?
This is a great meeting spot.
It is nice. It's better.
I like having the table and you just.
Better
Yeah.
acoustics.
Yeah.
The acoustics are.
Does the town
Yeah, I
use,
can hear.
does the town use this for anything?
Why do we have 4 to 5 jobs?
It was like the voice.
Closet.
In the video
No.
gallery over there.
Sean likes it too. That has nothing to do.
That's great.
Okay, anything else from the board?
No.
Alright, then I'll make a motion to continue this to our August meeting, which is August 19th. Is anyone on vacation, just so we know ahead of time? Are we all gonna be here?
I'm available.
Are you gonna have a baby by
I
then?
will have a baby by then.
Alright, yay. Alright, so I'll make a motion to continue this to August 19th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Alright, so feel free to clear out, we still have minutes to approve.
Thank you, Madam Chair. and
Thank you very
members.
Donna, sorry that you joined that remote meeting and it was like,
That's awful,
It was a good meeting to join remotely.
yeah.
Nothing happened, so that was nice.
Yes, for the sidewalk,
For the site,
that was circulated.
oh, no, David was circulated, I don't think that was.
Oh, okay.
Where to go?
I think you should pull out some language.
I would, we should get the new one and we should also make sure they bring copies for us.
Carla, we should have asked, can we get a copy of that map? We should show
Oh,
you.
yeah. Hey, Christine, sorry guys, can you get us a copy of the site walk map?
That's what I was,
Oh,
that's what I was gonna ask you.
alright, thank you.
Just like PDF, right? Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
That's a lot of work. Yeah, I mean, it's still hard to imagine the landscape of what's there now and how much it's getting.
Well, I'm just gonna make sure.
It's just if needed, right?
Oh, wow.
But if it all stays with, yeah.
I like it, sorry. I wanted it for the 20, how many, 11, do you know we have four?
Yeah,
It's in the fire truck.
Yeah, I know, but I mean,
I don't know, they needed it, they
I'm gonna get to my house.
we needed something.
Look, they
Yeah.
100%
That was just simply done as that,
Yeah,
see,
you guys probably didn't live here.
and they're basically just saying,
Yeah.
now, like,
I know, being like,
it's the same. That one's.
Alright, everyone, we are moving on to our administrative item, which is review of our May 20th and June 17th meeting minutes. June 17th is what?
That was a tough one, right?
Oh yeah, June 17th basically was, we continued the meeting.
Gave myself about 2 hours to watch the video. The whole video was
You
like
know,
8
I
minutes.
was like, I should have called you and told you, like, even if you're feeling kind of crappy, you
Just
could
come.
probably just come, but, thank you, David, bye.
You guys.
thank you.
The May 20th minutes, I know I already read and commented on, and you already updated them, so I am fine with the May 20th minutes. Does anyone else have comments or need a little time?
I reviewed them.
No, I'm all set.
Alright, I'll make a motion to adopt the May 20th, 2026 meeting minutes. Second,
Second.
all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Okay. What is it, the June, what was the date?
17. 17.
Oh, is that, sorry, thank you.
Half a page.
Good job.
I wrote those the night of the meeting. Thursday, I was like,
Good to get it out of the way.
Alright, I'll make a motion to approve the June 17th, 2026 meeting minutes.
Second.
All in favor? Alright, I will make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we're adjourned, thank you.
Alright.